අයිබෝවන් සියලු දෙනාටම අද පාඩම ලයිව් කරන්න බැරි වුණා. ඒක රෙකෝඩින් එකක් මම දාන්න තියෙන ඉතින් ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ මොනදේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ අධ්‍යාපනය නවත්තන්න ප්‍රශ්න ඉන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ විවිධ ප්‍රශ්න වලගෙන උදාහරණයක් විදිහට උදාහරණයක් දාන්න inflation. The general price level be rising. This kind of hyperinflation situation can be expected. Right? And in fact, there's economic crisis going on. Right? No one actually there's no any remedy now, I think, because we don't have foreign reservations. So we can't import fuel, diesel, petrol, all the things. And all the raw materials and some majority of raw material has been raw material and goods also has been restricted. So there is economic crisis and also political instability in Sri Lanka. Like මේ ඔක්කොමත් එක්ක ඔයගොල්ලන්ට සිද්ධ වෙනවා. ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ අධ්‍යාපන කටයුතු ටික හරියට කරගෙන යන්න. සමහර මම දැක්ක දාලා තියෙනවා අපි තමයි අවාසනාවන්තම බැච් එක කියලා දාලා තියෙනවා. ඔයගොල්ලෝ අවාසනාවන්ත නෑ. ඔයාලා අභියෝගාත්මක බැච් එකක්. ඉතින් මේ බැච් එක අපි කොහොම හරි ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ කමිට්මන්ට් එකයි ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ තියෙන knowledge එකයි අපේ දෙන strength එකයි පාවිච්චි කරනවා. So we can move out from this every right. සීත සුලං හමාවි උදු කුණාටු නැමිනෙන්නේ නම් වසන්තේ එනවා සත්‍යයි. හැබැයි මේ වසන්තය එන්න ටිකක් පළතුයි. ඇයි මේ එල්ඩර්ස්ලා ටික පොලිටිෂියන් එල්ඩර්ස්ලා ටික ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ජීවිතේ ගෙවලා ඉවරයි. හරි ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ජීවිතේ ඇත්තටම අවසාන කාලෙනේ. දැන් නම් ගත්තොත් ලිස්ට් එකම මේ ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ අවසාන කාලේ තව අවුරුදු 10ක්වත් මම හිතන්නේ නැහැ ඒගොල්ලන්ට ජීවත් වෙන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි කියලා. අපි දන්නේ අපිට පුළුවන් වෙයිද කියලා මොකක් හරි හදිසි අනුතුරක් උනේ නැත්නම් අපේක්ෂිතාවේ කාලේ තව තියෙනවා. නමුත් දැන් ඉන්න පොලිටිෂියන්ස්ලා ලොකු බුඩවල ඉන්න කිව්වනම තව අවුරුදු 10ක් වත් ජීවත් වෙන්නේ නැති වෙනවා. ඉතින් යාලට කමක් නැහැ රටට මොනවා වුණා. හරි මොකද ඒගොල්ලෝ තමන්ගේ පුතාලට දුවලට මුගාලට පරම්පරා ගානකට සල්ලි හම්බ කරලා ඉවරයි. ඒවා කියන්නේ යහපත්ව හම්බ කරපු සල්ලි නෙමෙයි අයහපත්ව මිනිස්සුන්ගෙන් උදුරාගත්ත පේන්නේ නැති වෙන්න උදුරාගත්ත සල්ලි. ඉතින් මොනවාම අපි ඒ ගානට වැටෙන්නේ නැහැ. අපි කාගෙන්වත් උදුරගන්නේ. අපි මේ ගමන යන්නේ. අපිට පුළුවන් විදියට යහපත්ව මුදල් හම්බ කරගන්න. Right? So we'll conduct the today's lesson because if we discuss about the current situation in country, actually we don't have time to do our studies. So we'll start today's session from law of demand. I think I have done law of demand. Anyway, I'll remind it a bit. So law of demand. What is law of demand? We study the law of demand is the inverse relationship between price and quantity demand of considered goods. Right? So it is the inverse relationship between price and quantity demand. That means when price increases, quantity demand will decreases. When price decreases, quantity demand will increase. There are two assumptions that we need to tell with the definition. So those are while or in a specific time period, while all the other factors except price, right? Except price is constant. All the other factors are constant, right? So we study, this is the law of demand, right? So why we call it law of demand? So it is a strong practical situation. That's why we call law, right? So as you can remember, in increasing opportunity cost, it's also a law of increasing opportunity cost, and this is law of demand and law of supply, and also law of diminishing marginal return. Those are we studied as kind of practical strong situation. So that means we can see them through the practical situation. That's why we identify them as a law, right? So here, this is the law of demand, and these are the assumptions of what? Law of demand and law of supply. Both we can take these assumptions, right? So, what's the law of demand again? It is the negative relationship or inverse relationship between price and quantity demand when all the other factors are remaining unchanged with a specific time period. So it means when the price of commodity increase, the quantity demand of that commodity will decrease. And when the price of commodity decrease, the quantity demand of that commodity will increase, right? So that all that thing happens within specific time period, and all the other factors are remain constant, right? The next one, I think that's the lesson that we have to start today. So that is the methods. Wait, before that, I think I missed one assumption, right? These are the main assumptions. Other than that, in your syllabus, right? In your syllabus, in advanced level syllabus, there is another assumption. That is, there is a linear relationship of between price and quantity demand, right? Let's write down that one as well. So that is linear relationship exists between price and quantity demand. Linear relationship exists between P and Q, right? So these are the assumptions, because that's why we can simply draw demand curves and supply curves, because there is a linear relationship. Otherwise, it will be complicated. Okay. The methods used to explain law of demand. Right. That's the thing that we have to start from. What are the methods we can express? Oh, we can present the law of demand. There are three methods, right? We can explain law of demand in three methods. First one, as a table, right? First one as a table. So this is page number 4, right? This is, no, not 4. This is page number 5. Tutorial is this one, right? In this tutorial, page number 5. So, read top or bottom, bottom, right? So as a table, and second one as a graph, and as an equation, right? So those are the ways that we can explain or present law of movement, right? As a table means there's a blank in front of this area, right? So you have to write down a numerical relationship, right? Table will show a numerical relationship, right? As a table, so there is a numerical relationship. So the second one, it is as a graph. It's in the tube. In front of that, you can write down graphical or linear graphical relationship. Third one, as an equation. As an equation, it is in front of that you have to write down here. This one also have to write down linear graphical relationship, and here what you have to write down. This is the functional relationship. Right? So these are the ways that we can explain law of demand. Right. So we'll move to page number 6. So we have to discuss in page number 6. We have to discuss demand schedule. Right. Let's do this. Right. Demand schedule, I told you, that is numerical relationship between price and quantity. Right. So we can write down the definition first because there is a blank. Write down. Demand schedule is the numerical, or you can write down. Wait, I'll read it. Demand schedule is numerical indicates the quantities which are expected to buy or purchase at alternative price level. Right? We'll write demand schedule is numerical. What is it? Numerical presentation of the quantities that plan to buy Plan to purchase by. Plan to purchase by consumers at each different price level. Right? Each different price level. So this is the definition of demand schedule. Right? Write down the demand schedule is numerical presentation of the quantities that plan to purchase by customers or consumers at each different price level. If you want, you can numerical indication also fine, or numerical representation. Fine. I don't get. And I think since this is a recording, you can pause and write up. I'll move on to the next part. Still demand schedule. The part in the huge. Right? So after the definition, this demand schedule numerically indicates the quantities which are expected to buy or purchase by the consumers at alternative prices within a specific time duration when all the other factors are remain constant. That also should be expressing here. So within, I think that part is also missing in the tube. So it is there, right? It is there. No, it's not there. So with in a specific time period, and for while all the other factors remain constant, right? All the other factors remain constant. So as an example, in a hypothetical market, the quantity of demand for mango, right, would be 500 when the price of the mango is C. All right, so they have told us price of mango is 0 when quantity demand is 500. So I think what we have to do in that example about information can be illustrated in a demand schedule as follows. Yes, so you have to construct a demand schedule, right? So here, let's construct a demand schedule. I think they have given that first information, price and quantity. Here 0, 10. Right. So here, first one, demand for mango would be 500 when price of a mango is 0. Demand is QD is 500 when price is 0. Right. And what they say, what they tell, they sell mango. Then always the quantity of demand would be increased by 100. Would be decreased by 100 always when the price of a mango is increased by 10. So the thing is, when the price is increased by 10, this will decrease by 100. So it is 400 because 500 minus 100, it is 400. And then 20 more here, 300. So now we have the pattern. So we can continue the pattern. 30, 40, 50, 300, 200, 100, and 0. So that's it, right? This is the demand sheet that we constructed to the given information, right? So it's a simple, right? Next one, demand curve, right? I told you this is previously demand schedule was numerical presentation, so we can just remove that part because demand curve is what? Graphical representation. Demand curve nothing else changed, right? Demand curve is graphical representation then rest is same, right? So that's these are the things that you have to remind, right? Because just be smart so you don't have to remember all these things, right? So just be smart. Graphical representation of the quantities that plan to purchase by consumers at each different price level. This is also same assumptions are obviously same in a specific time period. All the other factors remain constant. So this is the demand schedule, right? This one is the demand schedule. And now we can construct demand curve for according to this schedule. Right? Yes. We'll come to slope later, right? So here demand for I think there's a remaining part after the demand curve that we need to read. So what is it? During a certain period of time, when all the other factors except the price of goods being considered remain unchanged, the curve which combines all the points of the quantity demand at alternative prices of considered goods is named as the demand curve, right? Before that, I think you have to write down this explanation or the definition in that space. Quickly write down. Then we can draw the demand curve. Right. You can pause and write down. I can continue. So it's easy, I think. In a live class, I need to give additional time to write down. Here, I can continue because when I uploaded this to the YouTube, then you can just pause and write the definition and then again click. Right? So this is an advantage. So we can do some more in this recording, right? So this is, then I read it again. Graphical representation of the different quantities purchased by consumers at each different price level in a certain period of time, while all the other factors remain constant. In general, demand curve is downward sloping from left to right. In general, it is downward sloping. Why? Because I told you in the law of demand definition, there is inverse relationship or there is a negative relationship. So negative relationship can be expressed through graphically by how? Just downward sloping left to right demand curve, right? So here price, you have to put price here because vertical axis would be price and the horizontal would be what? Quantity demand, right? Horizontal would be quantity demand, and then we can draw the demand curve. But here, I think we have to draw the demand curve according to this schedule. So we'll draw according to that schedule. So we'll come, I think, at the middle, page number 7, middle area, there's a slope. I'll explain it later. Just quickly draw the bottom curve in here. Right? So here, 0 and 500. When price equal to 0, carefully watch this part because this part is necessary at every time because it may you may have to draw the graphs and draw the and illustrate the supply curves or whatever those things you need to done by yourself. So just look at how I do the things, then you can be practice. So here at price is 0. Price is 0. Here this is the price axis. Now it is 0. All right. In here, this price is 0. This is, as we know in mathematics, this is the 0, right? So price 0 and quantity demand is 500. Price 0 and quantity demand. Oh, before all the things that we have to point the axis, right? We have to mark the axis. So here 10, 20, 30, 40. I think you don't have to mark the axis because I have given a graph, right? So it has, you have to just put the numbers 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Here. So we need to go by 100 by 100, right? So you don't need to match this gap and this gap do not want to same, right? Just take whatever the same gap in horizontal line separate. So here 100, here 200, and here 300, and here 200, and here 500. So that's it, right? Here in bracket. So now what we want to do at 0 level of price, quantity demand is 500. At 0 level of price, quantity demand is 500 here. Then at 10 of price, quantity demand is 100. When price is equal to 10 here, right, there would be, let me tell us because I can't do linear in the whiteboard. I can't do linear curves. Here first point, and here the second. Third one, 20 and 300. 20 and 300 here. And next one, 30 and 200. So here the 200 and here the 30. When they are matching on here. So they are matching on here. So this is next one. So 40 and 100. 40 and 100. And finally 50 and 0. Here 50 and here 0. So this is the 5. So now you have drawn the, not you, I have drawn the demand curve. So this is almost, yeah. This should be linear, right? When you here. So this is the demand schedule. Quickly, pause, and then you can do. Right, next one. Participant. Right. So we have to calculate the slope. I'll move to page number 8 and come back when it's necessary to the middle part of page number 7. Page number 8. What do we have in page number 8? Right, there's a question. Right, there's a question. So just quickly do that question. Which of the wait. Before that, I'll give you the chance to do the question, and I will give you the answer after. Right. So now it's your time to answer the question. So the question is, which of the following is not held constant when a demand curve is drawn? First one, consumers' money income. Second one, consumers' taste. Third one, the price of the considered good. Fourth one, the price of the complementary goods. And the final, future price expectation. So quickly catch the answer. Right. Time's up. So I told you here, whatever the demand definition, general demand definition, or demand curve, or demand schedule, or demand equation, still we didn't do that part. We can identify this answer for this question. So it is what? Demand curve, graphical representation of the quantities that plan to purchased by consumers at each different price level in a specific time period, and all the other factors are constant. So here all the other factors except own good price or price of own good is not constant, because here at each different price may change, price should be changed. So the answer is the price of considered good. Answer number 3. Right. So next one, shape of demand. Right. So you have to write down. In general, demand curve. Right. In general, I told you that part before. In general, demand curve. Needed. In general, demand curve. In general, demand curve. In general part is there, so you have to write down the rest part. Demand curve. What? Slope downward. Slope demand curve according to the Demand curve is downward sloping, left to right. Demand curve is downward sloping, left to right. So you have to write down this. Demand curve is downward sloping, left to right. Then, because of the negative relationship of price and quantity demand. Negative relationship of price and quantity demand. Right. And here, next one. There are two reasons for this. There are how many reasons? Mainly, there are two reasons, but you can study three reasons for this. This means what? This means law of demand, right? Reasons for law of demand is, I'll explain it separate part in a separate part. So just write down it quickly here. No need to explain, just mention. Right? The reason for law of demand is first one, we call it substitution effect, right? So here first one, substitution. Second one, what? Income effect. Substitution effect and income effect. Write down these two answers. First one, substitution effect. Second one, income effect. Just mention. No need to explain because I'll explain it separate part in clearly. Right. So there is third reason. The reason is diminishing marginal utility. So we'll study it later. Here, those two are two main reasons for law of demand. Right, next one, I think we have to do that skip part. Slope of the demand curve. Slope of the demand curve we identify as simple B. Right? That is the slope of demand curve. We present it from simple B. Right? So here, I think it's better to. Right. Anyway, I'll explain. Slope. Before everything, we'll draw some graphs. So here, if we put a ball in here, so it will be coming down. Why? Because there is a slope. So that is the thing we identify as slope. Right? In mathematically, we find slope right here, price and quantity demand. So in mathematically, because slope is mathematical word, even we use when doing economics, right? So the origin of sloping in mathematics, right? So in mathematics, what the slope is? Slope is slope of B is change in dependent variable divided by change in dependent. We call it in Sinhala parayatta vicharya. That means it is depend on something. It is depend on something not, that means independent, right? It is depend on something independent. So change in dependent variable divided by change in independent variable. So this is the mathematical equation for slope. Right? Now let's transfer it to economics equation. So here slope B equal, what is dependent variable? It should become as nominator. What is independent variable? It should become as denominator. Right? So tell me, what is dependent variable from P and QT? Just tell me which one is depend and which one is independent. Right? When we identify the demand is quantity demand at each different price level. Quantity demands at each different price level. So which vary first? It is price level. Price level. Price vary first. That means this is the independent. මුලින් වෙනස් වෙන එක්කෙනා තමයි independent. Right? So ඔයගොල්ලෝ අතර, right? You guys, you can identify independent and dependent variables. Right? එක්කෙනෙක් අපි හිතමු එක පාර්ශවයක් ඔන්න අද වැඩි කතා බහක් නැහැ. මොන තවත් එක්කෙනෙක්ගේ මොකද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ මූණ පොඩ්ඩක් අවුල්. හරි. ඊට පස්සේ ඔන්න යාළුවොත් එක්ක ඉඳි අද කෙනෙක් පන්තියට ඇවිල්ලා නැහැ. හරි. ඔන්න ළමයිගේ මූණ ළමයි කියන්නේ සමහර කෙනෙක් ගිහලා මේ ළමයෙක් වෙනස් කරනවා යනවා. එයාගේ මූණ පොඩ්ඩක් අවුල්. An independent variable is there also, dependent variable is there. සමහර වෙලාවට මේ dependent variable එක කොටු පෙරාගෙන අඬන අවස්ථාවද නැතුවම නෙවෙයි. ඇයි? අර independent variable එක change වෙන නිසා. So that's the relationship between independent and dependent variable. So be independent, don't be dependent. Right? Dependent උනාම මල වදිනවා. So here, quantity demand. So price change first and then consumers will change their quantity demand later according to price. We know when price increases, quantity demand decreases. What change first? Price. When price decreases, quantity demand increases. What change first? It is price. So price independent, quantity demand change then dependent. Independent and dependent. So here, which one is dependent? Quantity demand. So here change in quantity demand divided by change in price. Dependent, independent variable. So here, yes, here independent variable is here and dependent variable is nominator. Right? So that's it. That's it. Then in symbol we identify this change as delta. Change in quantity demand means delta in QD. Delta QD divided by change can be represented in delta. So here delta P. So this is the symbol and this is the formula. I think, is there anything to write down? No. Here, all these things are at page number 9 above, right? Page number 9 above, all the things are, no need to write down anything. All the things have mentioned. So actually, first equation is does not need mathematical slope be vertical distance divided by horizontal distance. It's not necessary. Just you can, if you can, I think if you want, you can cut down in one line. That one. First formula, the mathematical slope equal vertical distance divided by horizontal distance. That is not necessary. Just go to second, third, and fourth equations that I have mentioned. This is the second one. This is the third one, and this is the final fourth. So now, again, page number 8. So here, now you know what is the slope. It is B equal delta QD divided by delta P. So delta mean change, right? Delta mean change. So now we can identify what is the represented by change. Right? So here, if we draw the demand flow, and if we draw this demand schedule as 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I'll draw the last one. We draw 500, 400, 300, 200, 106. Right. So in here, change. What is the change? It is here. Here, change by plus 10. And here again, change by plus 10. And here again, change by plus 10. This change is not, I mean, it is same value, right? It does not change because of linear relationship. That's why we identify it is in linear, it is a linear relationship. Otherwise, it will be complicated, right? So this is linear relationship since the change is same value. If change is 10 between two variables, then it will be same when we draw the demand, right? So here, as you can see, minus 100 is the change, and here minus 100 is the change, and here also. So now this is y. This is delta P plus 10, and this is what? This is same. This is delta Q. Delta P and delta Q. Right. So the equation you can identify it is delta QD divided by delta P. Now we can find the slope delta QD here. This is the delta QD. And here this is the delta P. Wait. I have put the symbol. So now I need values. Sorry. Delta QD here. What is it? Minus 100. And delta P, what is it? What is it? What is it? Plus 10. So now you have identified the slope. It should be minus 10. Minus 100 divided by plus 10, it is minus 10. I think this needs to be write down in where? Yes. At the table, page number 9. Before that, just you can put this on whatever the place that this is a kind of short note, right? You can put this on where I think in page number 8 and 9 all this both two pages have free space, right? In bottom page number 8 and page number 9 both. So I think you can Write down this. Quickly write down. Right, you can pause and write down. So I'll enter it. Right here. Now, but we need to identify sloping graphically because we have to put them on page number 7 and 8. So page number 7, put it down as right. Slope equal page number 7 middle part that we skipped earlier, that part. So it was mentioned slope is equal to delta QD divided by delta P. All right. Now, if we draw this, right? If we draw this, it is, I think we zoom it here 10, 20, 30, 100, 200, 300, 400, and 500. The point were here. I think you have already gone this, but I erased it. Yeah, 40 here. Here. So this is the right. This is the thing. So these are the points. So here delta QD divided by delta P. So here P changed by how much? How much? 10 by 10. So we identified. So here, this is the, if we identify, this is delta, which? Delta P, right? Change in price axis. It is same, 10, 10, 10 by 10. And here the delta P, I think there are blanks, right? So you have to put delta P on that blank box. There's a box, and this is delta P. And also there is a blank, so you have to put in that box delta Q, right? Delta P and delta Q have to put here delta P. Here one box you need to put delta P, and the second box, the box which at the horizontal line, it is delta Q, right? So this is delta P and this is delta Q. So it is the slope, right? So if you want, this change is same as whatever the point, right? Here delta Q, here delta Q, here delta Q, and here delta P, here delta P. So you just need to put this box and this box because those are blanks in your image, right? So just fill it, and that boxes as well as in page number 8 bottom part there is another same graph, right? Another same graph, another graph which 100% equal to previous one. Put that one as well. Delta P, there are also blank boxes. So delta P and delta Q. Put there. Right. So I think I drew the demand curve previously. In there, I didn't mark it as D. Mark it as D. So just you have to put D near this curve because we need to express this is demand curve. That's why we put D. If it is production possibility curve, we generally put PPC. If it is demand curve, we put D because demand. If it is supply curve, we will study in future. So we put S in there. Right. So now it's page number 9. We have to calculate. We have to draw. No, we need to calculate slope at every point. Right. So I think I'll erase other than schedule because we need supply schedule here. Yes, we draw right here points A, B, C, D, E are there. C, D, E, and also F. So then slope B equal, you need to fill that one, right? Delta Q divided by delta P. Price quantity demand Q. So here's the thing, and I think price A point price and B it has given CO and K, right? I told you you can fill this blanks, right, in price and quantity demand columns first. You need to fill that first because then you can calculate the delta Q and delta P at each point. So first part is to identify all the amounts after 10 here blank, 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 and blank, and here they have given at F point. At F it is 0 and 100 and 200 equal. Right. I told you what in advanced level that you have only linear relationships. Now it is only one. If it is linear relationship, the delta or change is equal at every point. So here 100, 200, rest are blanks. Here 300, here 400, and here 500. It is linear, then change is same. So here 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Right? This is right. Next one. Next one. Now you identify the all points. Here change. This is the change. Right? Change is same at everywhere. I told you because that was the base when we identified these points. So it is. I'll put 1 point delta Q D equal 100. It is plus 100, right? And delta P is equal well, delta P here. I'll put them here. Delta P it is equal also Here minus 100, right? Because 400, 300, 200, it's getting low, so it is minus 100. Delta P is positive, it is plus 10, right? So now B or slope equal delta Q divided by delta P at each point. So here at A point actually there is no any change. Why? At A point it is 0 and 500 meters. So there is no any change still because that is the originate point. So there is no any change. That means in here slope we can't identify a slope in here. There should be a change, right? Then when it comes to B, there is a change, and here also a change. Without any change, just looking at this value 0 and 500 price and QD, you can't identify a slope in here. Why? Because there is no any change. Slope එකක් එන්න නම් change එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Since 10 400 at this point at B now there's a change, right? So at A there's no anything. At B now B equal slope is delta Q minus 100. So here minus 100 divided by plus 100 plus 10. It is minus 10. And here same thing minus 10 minus 10 minus 10 minus 10. Now you can come to a conclusion. In a demand schedule or demand curve, the slope is not changed, it is same, right? For one demand curve or for one demand schedule, there would be same slope. So there would be only one slope. It does not change. The slope is same at everywhere. Here, keep in mind at A point we can't identify a slope because just looking at 0 and 500, you cannot identify a slope without any change. To identify a slope, there should be change. This is the change. Right. So that's it. I think all the other than A or the B, C, D, E, F would be equal to, if you want, you can do this. 100 plus 10, 100 plus 10, 100 plus 10, 100 plus 10. All the answers are minus 10, minus 10, minus 10, minus 10. It's not getting changed. Right, next one, demand equation. Right. I think demand equation would be in a separate video, right? Because now it is time to power cut, right? So I need to end the session before the power cut, then I don't need to edit the video. Otherwise, I have to edit the video and upload it to the YouTube. Right? So it's easy if I just wind up the class from this point and will continue on next class. The topic is demand equation. Right? So until then, now you have something to do. That means you have to fill the tube by looking at the video, right? Just watch the video and complete the tubes, right? And we'll wind up now, right? Then good night. Have a great weekend.